Hi, my name's James Piecowye. Welcome to the James Casts, and this is Catching Up, an ongoing podcast series where I sit down with seemingly ordinary yet extraordinary people and have a conversation about them. We talk about their careers, we talk about their interests, we go madly off in wild directions, and we end up in the same place with a better understanding of how this person has made decisions to this point in their lives. A little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, a whole bunch of information, and you know what? A sprinkling of entertainment along the way. Today, I'm talking to Max Piecowye, my son. We're talking about his education choice, where he is at this moment in his life, and where he thinks it's going. So let's dive into the conversation with Max Piecowye. It's not often you get an opportunity to sit down with your son, Max Piecowye, and talk careers and talk career development. And you've had an interesting twist in your career path. You started off computer science, pivoted into film.
Well, just not into the film, like the industry, more into like film theory.
Film theory.
Yeah. And
Graduated.
Like, yeah.
Realized, what am I going to do with this degree?
Well, the graduation of film was never to like get into film. It was more the ability to have a degree to apply to jobs that like say we need a degree. But we're at a point in our like job market where like any degree doesn't actually prove too much. And so just like, even though there are those jobs out there, they're increasingly harder to get like hired or even like, and
So were you like in a totally depressed situation? You were applying, looking at this piece of paper going, what?
Yeah. I left my city job though at the first time. I went on my trip, came back, was pretty broke from the trip. So then I hit up my friend to do landscaping because he offered that like he would have a spot for me. So I was like, bet, like if you need a man, I'd be down. Did that for 4 months. Left due to creative, well, not even
The job for you.
just like personality differences with some of the staff, and also my friend, he was like done for the summer, and so because he was gone, it was just me and all these like collar workers. So obviously they were like, well, your friend's gone, so you're also gone. So then I used this opportunity to apply for just any and all jobs.
What were some of the jobs you applied to?
Government work, data entry work, just desk jobs, drivers, dog walkers, kitchen jobs, anything and everything that like I just thought it would be a good job because I didn't want to go back to the city. Not that it was bad work, but like at that point I would been there for 8 years.
Wow.
Which 8 years as a part-time position for the city where like the bulk of your staff are 16, they age out at around 21. So at that point I just turned 26. So I was old and pretty, a lot older than a lot of the staff. I had hit like the max pay, but like, it was to the point where some people who were hired with me were hired like as my bosses. So obviously they were being paid and going forward, but it's hard to like work with people who weren't your boss earlier, who are now your boss, because you can't like take them seriously at all. So I ended up going back because I applied to, I don't know the exact number, but it's over 300 jobs,
Wow.
300 jobs. Out of all of them, I heard back from only one. It was actually a restaurant job though, but it was like a higher end Italian spot.
Okay.
And I went in for an interview, and they basically said I was like not qualified because I had never worked in a kitchen, which super fair. I assumed, I was naive into assuming that because I know how to cook means I can work in a restaurant. I now know that is entirely untrue. Just because you can cook does not mean that you're able to handle like the high pressure situations.
So that was the catalyst then for you to say, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to go,
No. Catalyst was after 300 jobs and not having a job for a bit and money getting low. I hadn't officially quit the city. I was only on leave. So I asked for some hours. I got hours, but like I was back at the job that I hated. Not that it's bad, just I was over it. So I was just back at a job they didn't like. And my last year, I had many meetings with like higher up staff about my work ethic, but I knew I was just like not there. And like everyone in my life has been pushing me to open or to do like cooking as a job.
But you can't do cooking as a job if you don't have a little bit of training.
That. But also I had applied to like restaurants, and none of them told me yes. So I assumed at the time that I would have to go to school. And also I hit a point of like, I didn't want to cook as a job because I thought I would like lose passion to cook at home. But I hit a point where it was either I stay in this like dead end spot in my life, or I actually try something anyway. So I kind of like took the leap with the encouragement from like my girlfriend and Q and mom and everybody else were like pushing me. It's like you should like try it out. So I took the leap, started school 4 months after that.
So, and you started in January. So
January, yeah.
Mid-year.
You're
in Algonquin. You're going to community college.
Yeah.
And you jump into the culinary management program.
Yeah.
Did it live up to expectation? You're almost done. You've got one semester.
So the way they have it stacked, it's like 4 semesters. The first half is the culinary skills and management, where it's like two programs that are in all these same classes.
Okay.
So the first year is a lot of like being in the kitchen and not like learning how to cook, but like how to cook to like the standard of the French, because like the French kitchen brigade is the standard that like all kitchens have adopted since the 1870s.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's cooking in a very particular way.
Yeah, it's like how to cook, how to clean, how to work as a group, techniques for how to do things.
So the techniques you're learning in this program essentially are the same techniques that every person who's working in a kitchen, if they're going through a program, would have the basics.
Well, yes. Well, so even in like any restaurant, even if you don't have that like background, they will teach you to like work in that standard. Because like old kitchens before, hold on 2 seconds, I'm gonna Google his name. Chef Auguste Escoffier, a chef in France in 1846. So at that time, restaurants were kind of like kitchens at home. So they like cooked the thing, and then you came in and it's like, what have you got today? And it's like, oh, today like we had a stew. It's like, all right, well then I'll have like that. And so you walk in and you eat whatever is there. That's it. What Escoffier did is that he was in the French like military, and so he used the way that like people in the like military work together, and they each have their own jobs, and he saw that everyone has their own job. If they work together, it is fast and efficient. So what he did is that he turned his restaurant staff into a brigade, and he had each chef was in charge of a different aspect, and so he was able to like offer a menu that had like options for like people to choose, and then after that, It was not only okay. Well, now it'll be an hour. It's like no, now it'll be out in like 20 minutes.
So you're near the end of the program.
Yeah.
What do you feel you learned from it?
I learned how to drop pretty use a knife.
Okay.
Turns out I've been interested in cooking and practicing cooking since I was 12, and I've been using my knife strong the whole time.
So it must make you cringe then when you see me or you see other people in
Oh, yeah,
kitchens
100%.
using a knife.
Yeah, 100%. I hate it. Like I actually can't be in a kitchen if I'm like not cooking, but I'm expected to like hang out, because then I just want to hop in because everyone is doing everything like completely wrong.
So how are people using knives wrong?
Technically, there's no incorrect.
Whoa! You just said that I'm using it wrong.
Technically, you can do whatever you want, but like the way it's done in the kitchen is the way that will at least likely cut yourself,
Okay.
and you'll be able to cut things on average 5 times faster.
Wow.
And a lot more accurate as well.
So what's the quick tip then, if you could describe how you should properly use a knife?
Keep the knife at a 45-degree angle from your arm. Keep the tip of the blade on your cutting board at all times.
Okay.
Only use the heel of your knife to cut, and it is not about up and down. It is about like using the like curve to just like go up, down, but also forward, and it's like a like shocking motion.
Wow. Okay.
And when you get the hang of it, it's like quick.
How long did it take you to get the hang of it?
You cover life skills in the first 7 weeks, so it took 7 weeks. But like, anyone can learn how. It's also if you like practice and care, because if you like actually want to like learn how, it's easy. But if you're like only there because it is like school, well then people don't. So
you must have people in your class who really don't want to be there. That's got to be annoying.
Yeah, it is. But a lot of people are like fresh out of high school and they just don't know what to do. The exact same as I was fresh out of school and I was pushed to go to school. And so my whole thought is I enjoy video games. Taking them will not be that hard. And it turns out that it is extremely hard. And it involves a lot of like high level math that I'm not great at. So the exact same as cooking, it can be hard, and there are a lot of like skills that are hard. But if you enjoy cooking, it's actually not hard because you're enjoying it the whole time.
Has the whole process of going to cooking school and nearing the end, has it changed your perception of the restaurant industry?
Yeah, it's all trash. 100% all trash.
Why?
So it used to be that like so for the like actual food cost that like restaurants pay versus what we pay, it used to be a lot lower, but now because of like our like economy, they're like basically the like same, and the techniques that they have, so they can like justify having you spend $80 on a dish that like I can make at home for like 20. I'm just like, no, it isn't even worth it. And I will say, since I've started school, I've like gone out to eat maybe 10 times in total, because it like isn't even worth it anymore.
Looking back, and you mentioned kids going through high school, they're finishing high school, and they're thinking about, do I go to university? Do I go to college? You know, forget the fact that college programs are getting canceled by the 40 load across Ontario, and that's where we are at this point.
Yeah.
Put that aside. Thinking back to your own journey, what advice would you give to that high school student right now who's in their last semester of class, who's now weighing out, okay, do I go to university? Do I go to college? Do I
never go to like university at all unless you are like interested in the academic side. So like in high school, we are taught that you have to go because it's the only way that you will get a good job, and that like isn't true at all. And I find a lot of the people who are there were like pushed to be there, and they actually aren't even suited at all. So if you want to go, it's because you actually have an interest in pursuing the like kind of like education that it offers. And if you aren't, and if you're on the fence, don't even go because it's expensive and it'll probably be a waste of your time.
Looking back, you didn't take a gap year. Do you think that would be, if the economy and if our societies could accommodate it, would that be something that, looking back at your own experience, could have been useful?
Not really. Like, I think,
but do you
if
think
you don't know what to do, having time off to just
do nothing
will just have you be comfortable doing nothing, and then you'll just spend time doing nothing.
10 years ago, when you were graduating from high school, would you have thought about going into cooking school?
10 years ago.
Would you have thought? It's almost 10 years.
I know.
Would you have thought about going into cooking school then?
No.
So picture yourself 10 years ago. What would you have done?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
I don't know.
Isn't it?
No, I like the school I was at heavily pushed. You have to go and do a like high level program at a school. You have to. Otherwise, you will not have a job. So I did it. I hated it. And then I learned that like it was just not for me. And the older I've gotten, the like more people I've talked to who've been in like similar coats, and it's just a story told by high school to like push students into a certain direction, but not everyone is like suited to like do that at all.
You got to go where your passion is.
Yes,
and
that's not always higher education.
I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in your case, you finally found culinary.
Yeah.
Not that, and as you said, not that you need to go to culinary school.
You don't, but it is good. It
gives you the basic skills.
It does.
Like,
well,
you know how to make a hollandaise sauce.
Yes. Well, like anyone can learn how. The point is like anything you learn in school, if you have a job, you are going to learn at some point. Just like I know the like basics now, and it won't take like chefs like showing me a thing or two over the next like first couple years of like my career.
So don't you think that when you talk about the program that you're in at Algonquin College, don't you think that becomes what makes it really useful in that you learn speed?
Yeah.
You learn the pressure.
Well, actually,
you learn a bunch of skills.
Mostly, I've learned speed at like boxes.
Well, that's the other side.
At school, everything is about technique, and so it's there's like speed, but it's not like speed.
Well, and that's the other side. The school forces you to
go to school.
And forces you to go to school, forces you to go get a job.
Yeah.
Where you learn very quickly.
Oh yeah, I know nothing.
Can I hack?
I know nothing.
And can I hack it?
Yeah.
With the speed, with the you watch The Bear?
Oh yeah. Well, I've only watched the first 2 seasons.
But the kitchens are like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that kitchen.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. You need like the
humility
who work in a kitchen need to be able to take a certain amount of like abuse, because it just happens.
To me, the interesting point of your whole journey with computer science and with the kitchen, I see a whole overlay of similarity of skills between the computer scientist and the chef. In that computer science, well, one is all about math, but follows the same kinds of patterns. You've got to be able to replicate things. You've got to be able to do it in the same order.
That's true.
You've got to be able to meet problems.
That's true.
To still get to the same outcome, and you've got to be able to do it fast and repetitively over and over and over and over.
That's actually so true.
And when you get to the kitchen, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's why you found it successful and you found your place, because you're not game designing, you're plate designing.
Right.
And you're able to take the abuse to produce that plate at Moxie's the same way, even though you might be having a bad day, even though the input of the product might be different, it's got to look the same. People want the same. They expect the same.
Yeah. Everything has to be identical, because then like why are like people like paying at all, right? Like people are paying for everything to be as they expect it.
I know we always want to say what's the greatest thing you learned. What's the biggest disappointment you've had in your program?
Biggest disappointment I've had in the program.
And I'm not negative against things, but what I maybe I should frame it differently. What did you expect, and now that you're doing it, oh, that's not the way it is. That's not the way it's going to be. Going into your culinary program, did you have an expectation, and now looking at where you've gone to?
I thought going into the program, like upon being done, it would like I would be able to like work in all of these like high-end spots that I want off the bat, and it's gonna take like work and grinding just to be where I want, which is totally fine. But you are sold the fact that if you do this, you're a chef, and then you are in it, and it's like, oh no, like I'm only learning how to work, but like I'm not where I thought I would be after it was all done.
What's the one thing at this point that puts a big smile at your face when you think about your program that you're in at Algonquin?
Just like the quality of like some of the stuff I've done. Some of the things I've cooked are things that I never thought I'd be able to cook, and like I probably won't often, because they take hours and it would be eaten in like 10 seconds. But like the thought of that, like I can do that is cool.
Thank you very much. We're going to do this again. We're going to pick up this conversation, but I think this is a great introduction to a catching up conversation where we talk about education, we talk about careers, we talk about cooking with Max. Thank you.
Welcome.